related to the violent disorder. Officials from the mission have said that they attempted to arrest more, but that failed. However, a lot of anger that is now brewing, and Sikhs in India also protesting in the national capital against what has happened. Sushant Sareen is with us on the phone line. Sushant, clearly UK is under a lot of pressure, but what are the concrete steps that can now be taken? Because fact is that only one arrest has been made, and that is not satisfactory. There are so many who are clearly seen in the video, and it is not difficult to identify their faces. Then why is it that we don't see solid action being taken?
Look, the only reason why I can think that solid action is not being taken is because the British government, or at least the state, the establishment in Britain, is complicit in this action. They deliberately and willfully turn a blind eye to these acts of vandalism, and this is not the first time something like this has happened. Pakistani terrorists have often attacked the Indian High Commission. They've thrown all kinds of excrement on the mission. And that has happened on a couple of occasions. Now you see these Khalistani terrorists do the same thing. Until and unless we now respond very strongly to this action, and it's not good enough for some ministers and some officials in Britain to say that this is unacceptable. What the hell do you mean by it's unacceptable? Something which happens over and over and over again, and you keep saying, and then you have these third-rate British journalists who have served in India, write these longish tweets saying that, we try and keep a very light touch. What is a light touch? When somebody gets killed or assaulted, is that when this thing will end from the British part? They did it in the 80s when an Indian official in the Birmingham consulate was kidnapped and killed by Kashmiri terrorists, or Pakistani terrorists rather, I should say. At that point of time also, nothing really happened. Now, this is an eyewash arrest of one person, even though they know that a lot of those people out there were part of this action outside the Indian High Commission. Yet you have just arrested one person. You don't have a fix on who these third-rate people are. So this is a typical kind of eyewash action by the perfidious Albion, which is what the British are known as. And they have done this constantly. They have pandered to these groups. They have deliberately turned a blind eye to these groups, despite warning after warning to the British authorities that they need to crack down on this activity. The British have deliberately allowed this to happen. So for them to feign ignorance and this attitude which they have taken, that they are really appalled by what has happened, it's just a sheer dissemble on their part. It is deception on their part. I don't think they are sincere. I don't think Britain is behaving like a friendly country anymore.
In fact, that was going to be my next question to you, that the Modi government had informed the Whitehall about planned Sikh extremist protests earlier this month, and the indifference of the British government to pulling down the Indian flag has clearly riled up the highest levels in New Delhi, and the Modi government being very clear that this could have serious repercussions.
Look, I don't know whether it's sufficiently riled up the government in India. I think the kind of statement which came out from the government of India is pretty pro forma. It does not say anything more than what it doesn't say what more needs to be done. They've demanded the pro forma stuff, that you arrest these people, etc., etc. But I think something much more needs to be done, so that the British wake up and smell the coffee, that this is simply not acceptable to any Indian. And if this kind of a thing is going to continue, then I think certain stronger steps need to be taken by the Indian government. This diplomacy has gone on for far too long. Look, here is this guy who climbs up on top of the balcony. What if he was armed? What if some of these characters were armed? What if they threw some, IED or some locally assembled crude bomb inside? What would happen then? Who was responsible for that kind of an action then? Is that what the British are waiting for? And this attitude of theirs, even from the Indian government. I'm sorry. And just yesterday, another act of vandalism has happened in San Francisco. What are we doing about that? Have we taken it up with the American authorities? This kind of nonsense, which we keep issuing these demarches, that's not good enough. I'll tell you why it's not good enough, because despite constant reminders to our partners in other countries, these actions are not stopping. They are not stopping this kind of stuff. Our temples are being vandalized. Our people are brutalized. They are being targeted. They are being hit. They are being assaulted, and nothing is happening. And these countries call themselves civilized. They give lectures of democracy to us. Shame on them.
And that is why, Sushant Sareen, it is a growing concern that needs immediate attention, because clearly raising the issues of vandalism and the incidents of violence that have been happening across Canada, Australia, UK, we are not seeing a collective effort or strong enough action being taken despite promises made by the various governments. What exactly is the centre now planning to do? We are keeping a close eye on that. Sushant Sareen, thank you for speaking to us.